husband.
I do.
I now pronounce you husband and wife.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2014 horror sci-fi The Remaining. The film is co-written and directed by Casey Lascala, and it stars Johnny Pacar, Sean Sipos, Brian Deckard, Alexa Penavega and Italia Ricci. All very glamorous names there. Now, this film focuses on a group of family and friends all coming together for the wedding of two of the characters, Dan and Skylar, I think it is. It's a beautiful wedding, cringy wedding, all the things you would expect to see at a wedding. And then, nearing the event of the festivities, everybody's enjoying themselves at the wedding, an apocalyptic event takes place. And mysteriously, a vast number of guests at the wedding just drop dead. And then it soon become apparent that this is not just happening there, it's happening worldwide, and people are just dropping dead for no reason whatsoever, and there is a select few that remain. The ones that remain then have to face more apocalyptic events, like creatures flying out of the sky, getting them, swarms of, massive chunks of hails of snow coming down, hailstones, and all these biblical things going off, and everyone's got to kind of stay alive in order to find out what is going on. What is going on might have more to do with a religious foretelling. Right, what are my thoughts on The Remaining? Well, this film, I'm a little bit undecided where to put this as a category. If you're seeing this in my found footage playlist, I've decided to put it in there because when I was researching like found footage films that I haven't seen yet, this one was on the list. I read up about it. It sounded interesting, even though it didn't have particularly strong reviews. So I thought I would give it a go. But after watching this film, there's a debate to be had whether this is found footage at all. There is found footage elements in this film because there's someone running around with a camcorder, filming bits and pieces. There's a lot of footage being caught on cameras of people filming themselves, saying things, and people watching it back and essentially finding the footage. But an awful lot of the film as well is filmed in a traditional way, with other people filming it. So it's a bit of a mixture of both. So if you go into this film thinking it's a very, very traditional found footage film, you're probably going to be pretty annoyed. Well, not annoyed, but you're going to be disappointed because it isn't a traditional found footage film. It's just got elements of that in it. But saying that, I thought what we got here was a really cool concept. I always think like these apocalyptic movies, if done right, can have, a real impact and can be quite thrilling to watch at times if they're handled correctly. The question is, does The Remaining handle it correctly? Well, not really. Aspects of the film, I think it does handle quite well. The mystery of what's going off, why is everything happening, why are people dropping dead, why is all these apocalyptic events taking place. That part of the mystery is pretty good. And then it becomes almost like that Nicolas Cage film, Left Behind, I believe it was called, that flopped hard a few years ago. It's a very, very similar concept. They start blaming it on like scripture. It's called The Rapture, I believe it is. Where all of God's believers are there's the ones that drop dead and go up to heaven, and all the ones that are alive are the people that don't believe, even though some of the people that are left alive are, priests and things like that. So, and a lot of the people that are left behind seem like very, very good people. They just, because they don't believe in God or they don't believe in Him enough, they're not the ones that are chosen. So there's a point in this film where it shifts and it almost becomes overly religious. There's literally scenes of people getting baptized in the film in the hope that will, get them chosen and sent to heaven. There's scenes of people praying. There's scenes of people who have lost the faith and, suddenly they refine their faith. And it gets a bit tiresome. I'm there to watch a horror film or a sci-fi horror film. And what it promises to deliver at the beginning of the film, it does not deliver by the end of the film. It's almost like it's drawn you into a false sense of security, as if to say, right, I've got you here now. This is a cool concept. Look at all this apocalyptic stuff going off. You know, people falling off here to the death, and people dying here, and this creature flying down and picking people off, and this happening and that happening, and people turning on each other, and you're just thinking, yeah, this is a good recipe for a nice tension-filled film with a little bit of fear and horror thrown in there. And then it doesn't give you that. There's a point in this film where it's just all about loss and faith and, you know, God, really. You know what I mean? And I'm not here to judge or on anybody. If you're watching this and you believe in God and you're a religious person, absolutely fine. I do not have an issue with it at all. Me personally, I'm not religious, and I don't mind watching religious films if that's what I know I'm watching. This one, like I say, it kind of draws you in with a cool sci-fi horror concept, and then kind of preaches to you by the end of the film. I certainly felt it was preaching to me by the end of the film, and I found it a little bit tiresome. To say nothing of the fact that, you know, like I say, I thought this was a found footage film when I started watching it, and so I had that disappointment when I realised, oh, actually, this isn't a traditional found footage film. Got over that because I was enjoying the idea and the concept of the film, you know, and then probably about 60-70% of the way through the film, I lost interest with it, really, because it just didn't deliver on the scares, on the tension, or it just leaned far too heavily in the religious explanation. And it felt like it was a church-funded film. You know, I think there is like a religious film company out there that makes like religious-based films and stuff. And it felt like they'd made it. Hey, they may well have made it, you know, and someone can maybe put me right in the comments if they did. But for me, yeah, I thought this was a little bit of a letdown. It's not unwatchable. It's not badly made. The performances are all of a decent standard. The effects are actually pretty decent. It just doesn't deliver on the promise of the cool concept that we got at the beginning of the film. So if you haven't seen the remaining, maybe check it out if it sounded interesting to you. If not, then probably give it a miss. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this review. I will, of course, be back with more reviews and content on the channel very, very soon.